evening, Mrs. Malloy, Mr. Crawley, members of staff, parents, and girls of St Hilda's School. The St Hilda's School motto, non nobis solum, not for ourselves alone, is well known to us all. Less well known, perhaps, is the fact that our motto derives from a sentence in De Officiis, Cicero's most influential philosophical work, in which he discusses one's duties. To quote the complete passage, "We are not born, we do not live for ourselves alone. Our country, our friends have a share in us." Over the past 101 years, St Hilda's School has flourished because of the guiding precepts and dedicated work of 8 principals. During that period, over 12,000 unique young women, all steeped in the motto of non nobis solum, have graduated from St Hilda's and made their diverse contributions to the communities in which they have found themselves. As the St Hilda's community commences the 2014 academic year and the school's 102nd year, one cannot help but reflect upon the fact that 2014 will also be the 100th anniversary of the commencement of World War I, the tragically misnamed war to end all wars. Students of St Hilda's in 1914 were somewhat protected from the worst of the horrifying news. They were not permitted to read newspapers, but they knew that Belgium had been overrun and that Australian soldiers had fought valiantly at Gallipoli in a campaign that resulted in 200,000 Allied losses. Many of the traditions and values so central to the St Hilda's of today were established during the years of that great conflict. It is recorded in the school's archives that under the guidance of Miss Bourne, the 60 students of the day were required to learn to knit in order to contribute to the war effort by sending socks and balaclavas to the soldiers overseas. Echoes of the homily of St Hilda and our school motto are certainly to be found in the deeds of these early St Hilda's students. The St Hilda's students of 2014 face a very different world from that of the students of 1914. In 1914, many men and women still believed that tuition outside of the family home was superfluous to a young woman's needs. Today, students of St Hilda's have the considerable good fortune to attend an institution that has over the past 100 years taken its place amongst the great Australian schools. The traditions, values and opportunities that we enjoy in a school such as ours cannot be taken for granted, but should be respected and proudly upheld. In 1914, only a few privileged St Hilda's girls were prepared for university. Today, the recent appointment of Janet Yellen as the first female chair of the Board of Governors of the US Federal Reserve signifies that gender equality for First World women is such that a woman now occupies possibly the most economically influential position in the world's largest economy. This makes Janet Yellen the most powerful woman alive today, by some estimates. The president of America's National Association of Female Executives, Betty Spence, wittily remarked during an address to that association that had Lehman Brothers, being Lehman Brothers and sisters, the recent financial meltdown might not have taken place. As light-hearted as this remark may be, it is perhaps a rather more serious request made by Gail Blank, the president and CEO of the American company Life Design, that best reflects what is required of modern St Hilda's women in the 21st century. Gail Blank inspiringly said, "Don't just stand for the success of other women, insist upon it." Echoes of our school motto are certainly contained in these words. Rather like our patron saint St Hilda, Gail Blank recognises the existence of attributes and talents in others, and is encouraging of such talents being given the opportunity to develop. develop in order to ultimately benefit the broader community. In a 21st century context, Gail Blank is really entreating modern women to do what St. Hilda directs us to do in the opening line of her homily, when, during the mid-600s, she wrote, "Trade with the gifts God has given you." Contained within Blank's statement is also the implication that modern women of the future should similarly brace their wills to action, and that they should be determined to succeed, not only in their personal goals at St. Hilda's, but also beyond school. And indeed, that women with experience and influence should assist other women, in much the same way as St. Hilda herself gave the benefit of her wisdom and knowledge to those who sought her counsel. In short, for me, Gail Blank embodies many of the essential qualities the modern St. Hilda's woman of the 21st century should possess in order to succeed. The phrase "don't stand for the success of other women, insist upon it," reminds us of the extraordinary power of words, the influential attitudes that words convey, and the magnitude of the changes that words and attitudes can bring about in any community. One need only recall the single, quiet, dignified no uttered by a tired Rosa Parks on the 1st of December 1955 aboard a Montgomery City bus. Parks steadfastly refused to give up her seat to a white man. That single word and a highly developed sense of justice assisted to change a nation dramatically. Rosa Parks did not set out to seek power or personal glory. She simply sought to make a difference in the lives of others. Such selflessness is at the very core of our school motto. Since ancient times, there have been ordinary women who, despite considerable disadvantage, have achieved extraordinary things. As early as 527 AD, we read of the rise of Theodora. Born into poverty in Constantinople, Theodora educated herself and rose to become co-ruler of the Byzantine Empire. She used her power as empress to help other women, particularly the poor. Influenced by her wisdom and compassion, her husband consequently ruled as emperor for over 30 years. More recently, the breathtaking courage of Malala Yousafzai has been something of a timely reminder to all St. Hilda students that not all girls enjoy the safe, first-world education that we at times, perhaps quite carelessly, take for granted. For Malala and many other women, the right to a basic education is a right that is yet to be won. The attempted assassination of Malala, carried out on a school bus by the Taliban, is in stark contrast to the experience of St. Hilda students. As First World women, not only do we have an inalienable right to education, but by an accident of birth, we have the good fortune to receive it in a land freed from political turmoil, conflict, or instability. When one considers the plight of women like Malala, one cannot help but think of the words of Harriet Beecher Stowe, whose best-known work, Uncle Tom's Cabin, inspired the American abolition movement. Harriet Beecher Stowe wrote, "All places where women are excluded tend downward to barbarism, but the moment she is introduced, there come in with her courtesy, cleanliness, sobriety, and order." With none of the resources that St. Hilda's students enjoy, Malala has undeniably braced her wills to action and is without doubt trading with the gifts God has given her. Being buffeted by storms, it would seem, she is resolute and quite determined to succeed. Rather like Rosa Parks, Malala seeks no power or personal glory. She seeks only what is just, and by speaking out, to make a difference in the lives of others. Theodora, Rosa Parks, Gail Blank and Malala all started out as ordinary women, but all had the passion to trade with the gifts that God had given them and the compassion to use their different talents to improve the lives of others. In so doing, they became extraordinary women. Across the centuries, the different religious, economic and cultural contexts of these women have not made the slightest difference. They have all quite simply had the passion to do their best, combined with the compassion to insist upon the success of other women. Reflecting upon Cicero's philosophy that we do not live for ourselves alone, it is clear that this principle has had a remarkable impact on generations of women throughout the ages. Over a century of St Hilda's education stretches behind us, and the school's second centenary stretches before us. In the First World, attitudes towards women's education have changed remarkably in 100 years. Doubtless, the next 100 will see many more significant changes. While change is a certainty, one thing remains constant, and that is that as St Hilda's girls, we do not live for ourselves alone. Our school motto embodies the enduring principles by which St Hilda's students are influenced: honour, faith, and generosity of spirit. We must be ever mindful of the enormous privilege that a mere accident of birth has afforded each one of us. And we must resolve in 2014 to be fully involved in the life of our school. With the privilege we enjoy comes the abiding responsibility to trade with the gifts that God has given us. Being educated in an Anglican school, we are reminded of the importance of living by the values of love, forgiveness, grace, hope, and compassion. These concepts are what underpin our school motto. In St Hilda's 102nd year, I would ask that you consider the value of compassion. Contained within it is the word passion. In 2014, find the passion to strive for your own success, as well as the compassion to help another girl succeed. Elect to participate in one new activity. Resolve to support another girl in one of her chosen activities. Have the passion to improve your grades, or choose to assist a fellow student in one of her academic endeavours. Show your school spirit by taking a friend and signing up for a supporters bus, even if it means giving up a Saturday to help some St Hilda's girls succeed. Have the compassion to be inclusive of those girls new to our community, and show them what it means to be a St Hilda's girl. And when the opportunity arises to support the girls raising funds and awareness for those less fortunate, please take the trouble to translate the words of our school motto into positive and encouraging action. In the words of one of the wittiest and wisest British Prime Ministers, Benjamin Disraeli, one is only truly great when one acts from one's passions. To this end, I would ask you in the year that is to unfold to demonstrate great passion in your involvement in the life of our remarkable school, whilst retaining even greater compassion for one another as we strive to trade with the gifts that God has given us. As it was in 1914, so it is in 2014. Non nobis solum, not for ourselves alone.